After a strong start to his career in Philly, Carson dealt with injuries and all sorts of roadblocks that sent him to Indianapolis, where he got injured once again. So what's going down?
Wentz looking, he spins. Wentz is inside the 5 to the end zone, he's in! Touchdown!
But Carson Wentz was in borderline MVP contention in 2017 until he tore his ACL and his hopes were destroyed.
Wentz, and watch his legs and his body just fold.
Following the injury, many think that Carson was a shell of his former self, but he actually had a higher QBR the next year. After the injury, he maintained the production until last year. 2020 was rough for not only Carson, but the Eagles as a whole, and in fact Carson had more interceptions that season than the two before it. Was it injuries, the coaching staff, or his poor decision making? I don't know, but whatever it was has kept him from being even close to his best. In fact, his play in 2020 led to the Eagles choosing a rookie on the rise in Jalen Hurts over a veteran in Carson. It seems like the team didn't believe in Carson being the long-term option, and the fact that they drafted a young stud like Jalen could have led to Carson's poor play. Whatever thing it is has sent Carson out of the city of brotherly love and into Indy. Now, it's not like he's going into some completely new situation with the Colts, as his former OC and Frank Reich is now the head coach. But nonetheless, it's different from Philly. With the Colts, Carson is seen as the centerpiece of the offense, and will get to show what he can do with a team that has already shown that they can win. Coming off of a close playoff loss against Buffalo isn't anything to ignore, and shows a great deal of promise for such a young team. With all this in mind, it's going to be on Carson's play to determine whether or not this team gets to the next level, or just stays in playoff contention. It seems like Carson is always plagued by some sort of injury or something, and so in the middle of training camp, he injured his foot and was said to be out between 5 and 12 weeks.
Wentz underwent surgery at 4 o'clock today, and his timeline to return ranges from 5 to 12 weeks.
Well, it's only been a few weeks, and it seems like signs are pointing to Carson being ready by the start of the year. The fact that he was not in a boot or limping in camp is a pretty great sign for how quickly he can bounce back. Although pure speculation, it's promising to hear news like this only a few weeks after the whole thing surfaced, and makes the situation as a whole seem like much less of a problem than previously. Nonetheless, Carson is still in a brand new offense, off of injury, and with all that comes a lot of pressure to perform. So it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to do in Indy. Before we talk more about my man Carson, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe for more stuff like this, turn on noties in order to stay tuned, and grab a t-shirt if you want. Anyways, back to the video. Now that it's looking like Carson is going to start off the season on the field, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of Carson we're going to get. Is Carson still in a slump that carried from last season, or has he improved his game to the point where he is looking like himself? It's tough to predict how well he's going to play now that he's coming off of a foot injury and his worst year to date, but thankfully for him, he is in an offense with his pal in Frank. Questions about whether or not Frank and Carson can rekindle the magic that they produced in Philly are all around the Colts going into the season. It seems like there's something good brewing within the team, and the abundance of talent within the organization points to a great year in the making. For Carson, he's one of the best offensive lines in front of him, with arguably one of the best linemen in Quentin Nelson coming off of a similar foot injury to himself, a young running back in Jonathan Taylor that is only getting better and better, and a receiving core that has some decent depth, from T.Y. Hilton to Michael Pittman and Zach Pascal. If Carson can take advantage of the abundance of talent on the offensive side, then it can make the Colts team super difficult to stop. Although Philip Rivers was great in 2020, he was limited by not only his age, but his playmaking ability. I mean, you can't expect a 39-year-old to rush for a few hundred yards, so it makes sense. But the fact that Carson is young and agile will add a new layer to the Indy offensive attack. Not only do you have to watch out for the great wideouts and running backs, but now quarterback in not only the passing, but rushing game. Carson's speed and toughness is underrated for someone with his kind of arm talent, and will come in handy in those 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 situations where you need someone to give you that extra oomph. Like I mentioned before, Carson has great arm talent, but coming off of a year like he had in 2020, it's no guarantee that he will revert back to his 2017-2018 self. It's honestly tough to pinpoint what happened last season, but whatever it was not good at all and has earned him a pretty rough reputation. Many think of Carson just off his play last year, and forget how good he has been outside of that season. That is the thing that makes Carson such a dark horse, because for him, he is seen as a has-been, and upon that, a liability to have on an offense. Although a rough label to shake, Carson is a hardworking, no-nonsense type of guy, and I'm sure he's doing everything he can to be back in elite form in Indy. Whether it's a game or a year, I think that Carson is going to be back in business with the Colts and prove that 2020 was a fluke of a season. What do you guys think? Does Carson have what it takes to be great once again? Or has he lost the magic that made him an MVP contender? Anyways, Carson has been given a shot to prove what kind of player he is. And so I'm sure he wants to show why he was a star in the first place.
Backfield. Wentz trying to convert on 4th down, and what a catch!
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed, it would be amazing if you guys could subscribe, like, and comment down below what stuff you want next. Anyways, see you all soon, and peace.